The mastery test will be given this Wednesday, and this is the review for it. The majority of this test is going to be over the stuff that we covered before the spring break. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. In this setup, we want you to find the x-intercept, the y-intercept, and the solutions. But you guys have to remember that the solutions are the x-intercepts, just written a little differently. So we'll start off with the first one. This says y equals. If something says y equals, you're just going to go to your calculator and press y equals. Once you press y equals, you're going to type that in. And then you're going to graph it. We always go to the graph first, then go to the table second. Now, as you realize, the x-intercept is right here and right here. The y-intercept is right here. So I know there are two x-intercepts, one y-intercept, and then I go locate them in the table. And I'm always looking for the number 0. So in this case, that's your x-intercept, that's your x-intercept, that's your y-intercept. So the x-intercept is -3, 0 and -2, 0. The y-intercept is 0, 6. Again, we got those from the calculator. Now my solutions are my x-intercepts. They're just written a little differently. For the solutions, x equals -3 and x equals -2. Alright, now we're going to do that again. As you notice, that worked when there was no number in the front. But what if there's a number in the front? Well, if there's a number in the front, we still do exactly the same thing. 2x squared plus 14x plus 20. Again, always go to the graph first. There's two x-intercepts, y one intercept, and I can't even see the y-intercept. And the solutions are the x-intercepts. So now I go to the table, look for the number 0. There should be 3 of them. There they are. Okay, here's the first one, -5, 0. That's an x-intercept. Here's another one, -2, 0. For the y-intercept, we're looking for 0 right here, 0, 20. And solutions are x-intercepts, so we need the -5 and the -2. We just write them down a little different. X equals -5, x equals -2. Here, we're going to try the same thing again. Again, if it says y equals or f of x equals, it's the same thing. X squared plus 6x plus 9. We always graph it first. And as you notice, this time is a little different. There's only one x-intercept and one y-intercept. So let's find them. We're going to look for two numbers this time. -3, 0. That's your x-intercept. And the y-intercept is 0, 9. Solutions, x equals -3. So that tells us that there might be multiple different solutions. This time we had 2 solutions, this time we had 1. And these are the graphs that tell us how many solutions you get. So as I take a look at these graphs, I can figure out how many solutions I have by looking for x-intercepts. In this case, it just touches once. There's one solution here. Here, it touches twice. There are 2 solutions. In this case, it never touches. There are no solutions. So you can tell how many solutions there are by looking at the graph first. This is why we always graphed it before we went to the table looking for stuff. This time it says use the following graph to find a solution. Now, here we just ask you for solutions. Here we're asking for a specific solution. Not just any solution, but the solution for f of x equals 2. So we can't just pick this answer. That's the solution. But we're not looking for the solution. We're looking for this solution. So I take a look at the f of x equals 2. I find that equal sign. I draw my t-chart. This is to remind me that y equals 2. So I go on the y-axis. I locate the number 2. And once I locate it, I take that notch that's right there and just kind of stretch it into that thin line. So to find a solution for this, right here and right here. Okay, approximately, this is almost 1. So that will be x equals negative 0.9. And approximately, this is almost negative 7. X equals negative 6.9. I'm sorry, this is positive 0.9. This is negative. We're going to put positive sign. Okay, 0.9. And that was negative 6.9. And since we approximated, it could probably put negative 6.8 as the multiple choice answer. That's not a big deal. Let's do it again. This time, we want to find a solution for f of x equals to 5. So, here's the y. Again, just pop a little x and y table right there. If this was 3 right here, x is 3. But it's not. It's 5. And 5 is what? Under y. So we're looking for y is 5. I go to y, I locate 5. And I draw a line. This is the solution for that one. This is the solution for that one. X equals between 1 and 2, say 1.5. And x equals between 6 and 7. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Between 7 and 8. So negative 7.8. Or negative 7.5 or negative 7.6. As long as you approximate somewhere close to it, you're good. Alright, let's keep going. Find the solutions. So again, now we're looking for x-intercepts. But now, they give us a very specific one. Which one? This one. So I plug this into the calculator, and I'll look for this in the y. So again, we're finding a specific one. So I turn it on, go to y equals, we'll put 2x squared plus 6x plus 4. And once we do that, we'll go to the table. By the way, we'll look here, see how many solutions there are. 1, 2. Then we'll go to the table, try to locate both of them. Here they are. Negative 2 and negative 1. But wait a minute. That wouldn't work. Because they didn't just ask me for solutions. They asked me for solutions where y equals to 12. So I got to be careful. The real answer there is negative 4 and positive 1. So let's review. You can have an equation, and if there's no number here, you look for it right there. But if there is a number there, then you're looking for that 12. You see it? So don't get those mixed up. Find the solutions for 2x squared equals to negative 6x. Now this one's a little different. I can't look for negative 6x in the y, because none of these numbers here have an x attached to it. So of course that's not going to work. So this one's going to be a little different. This one, we're just going to move this to its proper position. And its proper position is in the middle. See, they're supposed to always look like an x squared, then an x, then a number. It's always supposed to be in this order. So there's the x squared, there's the x, this is the number. And in order for it to move, if it's on the opposite side of where it needs to be, we use the opposite sign. So this is negative 6x, the opposite of negative 6x is positive 6x. So now, the new equation is 2x squared plus 6x plus 4. Alright, that one had equal to 12. This one doesn't say equal to anything. So now we're going to look at just the x-intercepts. Y equals 2x squared plus 6x plus 4. Right here and right here. And the answers to this one is negative 1 and negative 2. So, with a number, you look for the number. If there's no number here, you look for 0. Alright, last one. Find the solutions for 4x squared minus 36. Again, this is exactly the same thing. Didn't say y equals. Didn't say it was equal to 0. But they don't have to. This is an equation. It can go to y equals. And if I don't write down equals to 0, that means it's equal to 0. So I could just go ahead and use that the normal way. 4x squared minus 36. Go to the graph. It goes twice. Go to the table and find the zeros. Here's one. Here's the other one. X equals negative 3. And x equals positive 3. Alright, there's also a word problem on this test, so in order to do this word problem, you have to remember to draw whatever shape they give you. Given a rectangle, you're going to draw a rectangle. After you draw the rectangle, you're going to label it with the length. And then whatever information they tell you, you put it onto this picture. The width is W, so the width is going to be called W. I already did that. And the length is going to be called something different. The length is going to be called double the width, so the length is 2W. Double means you multiply by 2. So I'm going to get rid of the letter L and put 2W there. Then they said, find the dimension given that the area is 18. Well, you get the area from going length times width equals to the area. Well, the length is 2W times the width, which is W, equals the area, which is 18. And now I'm just going to change the letters from W, because I don't like W, to X. And now I have an equation I could plug into your calculator. So I'm going to turn on the calculator. 2x times x equals to 18. So here's one right there. And here's one right there. So since sides can't be negative, we're going to pick this one. X equals to 3, which is the same thing as W. W equals to 3. Go back here. W is 3. And the length is 2 times W, and W is 3. 2 times 3 is 6. So the width is 3, the length is 6. So it was not drawn to scale. Alright, here we go. Two more things on the test. The next one is going to be called the quadratic formula. So in order to get the quadratic formula, what we're going to need to do is going to find A, B, and C. The steps are real easy. First one, put them in order. Second one is locate A, B, and C. Third one is write down the formula with parentheses. And the fourth one, plug into the calculator. So you just got to follow all those steps. Step one, let's put them in order. Remember, it's supposed to be x squared, then an x, then a number. This has to go in the middle. Opposite side, opposite side, opposite sign. The opposite sign of minus 7x is a plus 7x, and that's what goes right there. So I end up with 3x squared plus 7x plus 2. Now, I did that part. Now, A, B, C. This is A, this is B, this is C. Put it in the formula. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Again, I just wrote down the formula with parentheses, no letters. This is b, b is 7. This is a is 3. This is c is 2. And now I just plug into your calculator. That does not go into y equals, it goes right here. First thing I do is I start off by putting a fraction. Then I type it up exactly like I see it until I get to this part where it says plus or minus. You can't do both at the same time, so I'm going to go ahead and work them out one at a time. I'll do the plus first and then I'll do the minus second. Alright, my first answer is negative 1/3. And my second answer, just go up there, highlight it, and press enter. Is negative 2. On this test, they're going to be a little bit harder than that. Only one of the answers will look like this, where you plug in a calculator. The rest of the answers are set up in a way that they have to look like a fraction. Those are a little different. For those, you have to do this and this and this separate. So let me show you how to do that. In order to do that, we're going to do this separate. So you just plug that in the calculator just like you see it. The answer is negative 7. The plus and minus stays there. The square root, plug this in the calculator. All over this part. So it's kind of like setting it up into 3 different parts and ending up with an answer like that. This will not be your final answer. You could reduce this to a 5. But the answers on the test, you will not be able to reduce it. The whole point is, can you leave it like a fraction like that? So for the next 2, we're not going to solve them like this. We're going to solve them like this, because that's what the test is going to look like. Alright, so let's give it a shot. Number 2, again, step 1, put them in order. X squared, x, then the number, but the number is in the wrong spot. Opposite side, opposite sign. We're going to take it and put it right here. This is where it belongs. Last time we put this in the middle because that's an x. This one we put this in the end because it's a number. So we're going to end up with x squared minus 4x minus 96. Now, A, B, C. Negative 96 is C. Negative 4 is B. And that's 1 for A. Now we write down the formula. Negative B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4 times A times C all over 2A. Now again, I could plug it straight into the calculator like this and get an answer. Okay? Totally workable, a lot easier. But on the test, they want it as a fraction, so we're going to handle it one part at a time. We handle this part first. Positive 4. Plus or minus the square root right there. Square root of 400. All over 20, all over 2. 2 times 1 is 2. Again, we could reduce this. Again, we end up with a whole number. And again, I could continue, but I'm going to stop right there just to show you how we end up with the fraction answers, okay? Let's try it one last time. Here we go. And when we get to this one, we notice that we have a problem with putting them in order. We have the x squared, and we have the number. What we're missing is the x, but we still need it because we need an A, B, and C for the test. So, nothing to move over except that 0. So we're going to move over a 0x right there. Now that we have them in order, we can have our A, our B, and our C ready to go. And we do our formula, negative B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4 times A times C all over 2A. And again, we plug this in the calculator, that gives me 0. Plug this in the calculator, that gives me 2. Plug this in the calculator. Again, 0 squared is just 0. Square root of 64. By the way, square root of 64 is just 8. And again, I could continue here and get 2 different answers, but I'm going to stop just to show you how to end up with a fraction format. Okay, last thing on the test is to solve using the square root method. That's this thing right here. In order to use that thing, I have to remember that this just cancels out this. So these two cross each other out. So this is only used with the square. It's not used with anything else at all. So right here, I can't start by doing that, because this will cancel that out, but this does not have a square on it. So before I start, I got to get rid of that number first. That 2 is multiplying the x minus 3, so the opposite multiplication is division. Once these cross out, I left over with x minus 3 squared equals to 100. Now that I have that done, now I can start working on the square. The opposite of the square is the square root. These two will cross out. You have x minus 3 equals positive and negative 10. Every time you square root a number, you get 2 answers, a positive and negative one. So my first answer is x minus 3 equals a positive 10, and x minus 3 equals to a negative 10. So, opposite of minus 3 is plus 3. First answer, x equals 13. Opposite minus 3 is plus 3. These cross out. X equals negative 7. Let's do it again. A square root cancels only a square. And here, there's a 3. It doesn't have a square on it. I can't use it on there until I get rid of that 3. So I divide both sides by 3. These cross out. X plus 4 squared equals 16. Now I could use a square root. And these cross out. You end up with x plus 4 equals plus or minus 4. Every time you square root a number, you get 2 answers. So I have 2 answers there. X plus 4 equals a positive 4. And x plus 4 equals a negative 4. Opposite plus 4 is minus 4, so my first answer is 0. Opposite plus 4 is a minus 4. My second answer is negative 8. So those are both of my answers. As you notice, all the stuff that we went over for the test right now, almost none of them have been worked on for the last 3 weeks. So this is going to be an easy test, but quite difficult because you haven't had a chance to review it for a while. So good luck on the test and hope the video helped.